Hello. I'm Skip up. Well, I'm gonna take these glasses off. I'm gonna turn off the timer. All these things. And that was ended a lot sooner than I thought. Obviously, there was a lot of leader at the end. So that was a home movie. Somebody guessed correctly. It was shot at 8mm, and it was from Mexico. I'm not sure if the film actually takes place in Mexico, but the film was found in Mexico, I think, at a flea market. And it was somebody playing with tester model airplanes back when they were driven by a line. You had a line that kind of connected them, and you would kind of go around. You can make it go up and down. This is before remote control, drones, and all that. So, kind of a magic time. Had little motors that you had to put the little fuel in. My neighbor had one of those. I wanted one, but I went model rockets instead. That's where I went. Anyways, Skip Alzheimer. I collect old 16mm films and show them to folks like you, even though that was just 8mm. This next film is from University San Francisco U, I think. It's California Health Department. So here we go. It's a good feeling.
The state has a certain openness to it that I don't find in other parts of this country. It's a jump-off point. You're in touch with the ocean. Not far behind it are the mountains. It's a good feeling.
Sooner or later, they all come here. And you've got to take care of what they leave behind. But it sure is different from in the old days. I'm beginning to understand this country we live in. Doesn't make any difference who owns this dump. City, county, privately owned. It's all the same. Still a dump. You don't like a dump? You think it's too smelly? Too smoky? Too many flies? Okay, let's just call it a focal point. But it does show our way of life. Did you read in the paper the other day that California's population is increasing some 1,500 people a day? I can believe it. Houses, stores, buildings, everywhere you look, everybody's getting on the bandwagon. Something has to be built. It's all quantity, not quality. You can't really tell where one town ends and another begins. The more people that move in, the more land it takes, and the more stuff they dump. I just can't keep up with all these people and all their garbage. You think it's a problem now, but what am I going to do in about 5 years from now? My space here will be all filled up. The county's going to pass an ordinance to stop open burning of this stuff. They say it pollutes the air. Well, that's pretty obvious. You know it. I know it pollutes the air. But that doesn't help any. I even had to increase my rates. You should have heard the people squawk then. And I agree, they should have better service like they want. So what am I going to do? Our waste problem is a result of our way of life here in America. Everybody has money now. They buy new, they throw away. There's no saving or conserving, anything for convenience to make life more enjoyable. We're going to have garbage and trash all over the place. Garbage and trash we're willing to pay for now, but we won't pay to get rid of after we're through with it. It's the old story, out of sight, out of mind. And the worst part of it all is they can't help but produce all this waste. A good life is made up of what we call essentials. But really, are they? They're extras, I'd say.
Extra, extra. Read all about it.
Market surveys indicate an upward trend in sales.
More on the upside than on the down, selling kept nearly even with buying. Analysts are attributing the mixed tone to the weekend business news picture. The Dow Jones closing stock averages 30 industrials up nearly 3 points, 20 rails up 2.25, 15 utilities down 1.09, 65 stocks closed up 1.16.
It's fabulous.
The climate.
The variety appeals to us.
The state has a certain openness to it that I don't find in other parts of this country.
I think it's gorgeous.
Good place to raise kids.
People, educational facilities.
You're in touch with the ocean.
Our vacations range all the way from ski trips and snow trips and hunting trips.
Not far behind it are the mountains.
On to, quote, trips to the city, end quote, and all that goes with that. Virtually every activity we can think of in between.
Gorgeous. Nothing like it.
But wherever I walk, I seem to feel free, and I
think that's a beautiful spot.
Very swell place to live.
The climate, the surroundings, the general mode of living.
It's a good feeling.
That's better. People see only what they want to. There's one reminder. Flies. Flies. Waste makes flies. How does waste make flies? You make waste, and waste makes flies.
Lay their eggs in moist organic materials. The eggs develop into
maggots. They look just like worms, and you see them crawling in your garbage can.
Seeking a dry medium to develop into adult flies.
In only a week from the time you first saw the maggots. Everywhere you turn, you make it easy for the flies. I see it all the time. It boils down to neglect. Just plain neglect. Irresponsibility in handling the stuff you throw away. Throw it, don't take care of it, Have it picked up once a week, the flies love it. It's bigger than the individual's backyard or a neighborhood. The whole area is at fault. We gobble up land for urbanization. We're invading agricultural land. We're all back to back now, living next to each other. And this causes a waste problem and a fly problem. Take manure, for instance. Dairy, poultry, horse, feeder cattle, it makes no difference. You name it and the flies like it. Build expensive homes next to it. It isn't managed properly. You're going to have flies all over the place.
Hiya, Grace. It's so nice to see you again. Your home is just wonderful.
Really charming, Grace.
Look at the dining room, honey. Oh, your new crystal is just wonderful.
Look at the view over here. It's incredible.
Oh, your yarding right through the dining room gives it some atmosphere for dinner. Honey, we should have our yard landscaped.
Absolutely.
The farmers used to have plenty of ground to work. Now we have houses where farmland used to be. But the more people you have, the more food it takes. So new and better ways of raising crops are used, new and better ways to harvest, new and better ways to process all this food. And it all boils down to more waste. I can't handle it. I don't even know the right way to handle this stuff. But yet there it is, either in a dump or lying in a field somewhere, and the flies thrive on it. You can't keep up with them. You've got to eliminate the source of flies. The things that flies breed in. Waste. One fly means someone has goofed. Whether it's the grower, processor, the consumer, someone has goofed. Waste hasn't been managed right. And if you see that obvious sign, you know you've got a waste problem. And I'm talking about an area-wide fly problem resulting from an area-wide waste problem. Waste doesn't stop at the city limits or at the county line. We need a system that can handle all wastes, everything from household garbage to piles of manure to junked autos. Different areas have different problems. We plan for water, gas, and electricity for an entire region. But we don't even think about solid waste this way. Society certainly deserves something better than it has now. Make this stuff useful. We've got enough brain power around, if we care enough. If we don't, well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Actually, I don't think there is a solid waste problem. Looking around, I could see that everything's pretty clean. What do you mean the solid waste problem?
Each person produces almost 4.5 pounds of waste per day. That's about a ton a year for every man, woman, and child. Every day in California, an additional 3.5 tons of waste is produced by the 1,500 new people that come to this state each day.
All these damn foreigners crowd in on us, old-time foreigners. But my business is construction, and I have to depend on an enlarging economy, if you will, for my life sustenance.
Maybe I'm more conscious of it. I'm not pinning any roads, but I do carry you know, a litter bag in a car, and I keep my stuff and throw it away when I get home.
Oh no, we don't create any flies around our place. We live very cleanly. I'd had a little trouble before, but that's no problem anymore. We don't. But there's a neighbor down the street, next door. That guy, oh, he's terrible. Pain in the neck. I think that the flies we're getting are coming up the street there.
This problem has arisen. No, I happen to feel that I found, from my observation, yes, I found the understanding that I would think all our advances in science, haven't they found some chemical that would...
We're still operating as we've done for half a century or so.
It's a good feeling.
Sorry about the cow footage. I saw it when it was too late. But the footage is beautiful in this film. Really beautiful. But the message, of course, is very ham-fisted, and it's a student film. So that's what you kind of see with a student film. Everything is... But what's fascinating is this is part of a style. Like a bunch of films from the late 60s all kind of have this same type of feel of showing like beautiful stuff and then dumps. Like there's quite a few films that kind of came out around this time, and I'm wondering, and then some of them were student films, and I'm wondering if there was some sort of competition, like some sort of grant thing. This is kind of post Lady Bird Johnson talking about keeping America beautiful, and about the blight of visual blight, and also talking about landfill. There's a lot of films that I have from the late 60s that talk about how to have sanitary landfills and how you deal with this by covering over the trash with soil like every day, so that you don't have that opportunity for flies to grow. But really fascinating. Beautiful footage. 1967. I can just add it to the films I have about dumps, because I have quite a few. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's watch a film on the telecine. Telecine is the film transfer device there, where I can pull films off the shelf and we can watch them live. This one is... What is this one called? I can't remember. Why Be Down When You Can Be Up? It's probably another late 60s, early 70s film. So, enjoy.
I want to hear my rights. You've heard your rights, so just be cool, all right? I didn't do anything. Yeah. What do you call that, huh?
3317.
Just cool it, all right? Just stay still.
One suspect in custody. Second
There's nothing wrong.
suspect.
Hello, Norm. Norm. You can't see me, Norm.
Man, I must really be getting freaky.
Come on, Norm, you're not freaky. And it's not the grass you started to smoke. I've been watching you for a while, and I'd like to talk to you.
Man, this is unreal. What's going on? Maybe the cops have bugged this tree.
No. Look at it this way. If I were a cop, you'd most likely be under arrest right now. Have you heard anyone give you your rights?
Oh, that's true.
Relax, Norm. You see, I'm studying the marijuana issue. I read the president's report, and I've seen medical research. And now I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I don't think so.
What's the harm?
Well, okay, I'll talk to you. What do you want to know?
Start at the beginning.
Wow, let's see. The first time I got loaded was about 6 months ago. Jeff, my best friend, and I got turned on to some grass.
I heard something. Did you hear it? I didn't hear anything. Let's line up another one. Hold still when you do it.
Norm, it sounds like you're really into it.
So, is there something wrong with wanting to feel good? Why shouldn't I let go every once in a while? As for that matter, why should I be down when I can be up?
You're the one that dropped it. Get up, look.
Where'd it go? Here it is.
Gonna wake up the neighbors.
Grass. That's my bag. Besides, marijuana's not harmful like alcohol. Yeah, you might say I really do dig the stuff.
How about Jeff? How does he feel about marijuana?
Oh, we don't hang around anymore. He says he's in love. He's really changed. He even gave up grass.
How often do you turn on, Norm?
Not enough to hurt me. I smoke a little grass to brighten up my day every once in a while. But what difference does it make? Marijuana's harmless. Everybody knows that. Why shouldn't I get up as often as I like? I know better than to listen to all that garbage preached about marijuana. There's nothing wrong with feeling good.
No, there isn't. But is it the same turning yourself on and when you let a drug do it for you? Let me illustrate what I mean.
Imagine a straight line. This line is your normal. By normal, I mean kind of an average of what you experience between positive and negative. Think of everything above this line as being what you consider a positive experience, and everything below the line is what you experience as a negative. Everyone has their own normal line, and each one is different, like fingerprints. Let's see how the relationship of these two extremes work in your own life. You see, Norm, your whole life is a series of ups and downs. If you lived in a straight line, you'd soon get bored to death. Norm, let's carry the idea a little further. How much money do you get a week?
Well, I don't get much. What do I have to get by on?
How would you like $300 a week?
Sure, you bet.
What would you do with all that money? Hold on a second, Norm. What if after about a year, I came to you and said, you'll just have to get along on your old meager allowance. You'll have to do without the $300 a week.
Hey, what the? Where's... That's not fair.
Can you now see how easy it is to adjust to better conditions? And how lousy it would feel to return to your original state once you get accustomed to the new feeling.
That makes sense. Yeah, I never thought about it that way before. You know, it seems like that would apply to many things.
Take booze, for example. Now, when some people drink, it makes them feel good, so their normal is raised. Others drink, and their normal changes very little. Still others get sick.
You know, I can't see why anyone would want to drink in the first place.
Well, Norm, not everyone who drinks gets sick. Some people enjoy alcohol so much that that's all they want to do is drink. They get so accustomed to that boozed-up feeling that their old boozeless level isn't good enough anymore. That's why we have 7 to 10 million alcoholics in our country right now. Maybe more.
Yeah, man. You know, they ought to outlaw booze and legalize grass.
Wait, not so fast, Norm. Just as in booze, the people who experience marijuana as a super feeling have the greatest potential for getting hung up on that feeling. What about those people who continue to experience the good feeling? Like you said, why be down when you can be up?
Okay, why not?
Let's say I have the power to grant a special prize to some kid. I'm going to give him a vacation to Disneyland. All expenses will be paid. It'll be his day. Okay, Norm. Let's change the facts a bit. Instead of a single vacation, let's say he gets to go every single day.
Disneyland is a lot of fun, but every day? Yeah, it'd become a real drag.
And it's important to note, the park didn't change. It was the boy's perspective of the park that changed.
Are you saying that a kid's normal can get screwed up just because he gets spoiled of fun?
Yes. And the same thing is true of drugs. If you liked the high and stayed up frequently, being high can become your new normal. In fact, anything less than that high feeling will seem inadequate by comparison.
Are you saying that I'll get hung up on everything I enjoy?
I suppose you could, but it's not always bad to be hung up. Take being in love, for instance. You see, Norm, there's a big difference between consuming life and its opposite. Do you consume your highs, or do they consume you?
I can handle my highs. I don't need drugs. I just like to turn on every once in a while, like I said. Being some kind of a drug freak isn't where it's at. I'll never get hung up.
You may be right, but we all think that we're the exceptions. It's always the other guy who gets fat if he eats too much. It's always the other guy who'll crash if he drives too fast. It's always the other guy who will get caught for doing something illegal.
Really, man, I know where my head's at. No monkey's gonna climb on my back. Hard drugs are for the losers.
You can't dodge that monkey by just avoiding physically addicting drugs, Norm. The real monkey is your memory. Our minds are full of pleasurable experiences, which make it easy for us to want to experience those good feelings again. But we can achieve a balance in our lives by learning to know ourselves and our needs. That happens when we realize our own unique...
But do you have something better? I mean, everyone likes to feel good.
You can answer that better than I can. Remember, there's nothing wrong with turning on. The important thing is what you turn on to.
What turns me on? Being free, sunshine.
Music. I like listening to music.
Music.
Music turns me on to be here for a purpose.
Dancing. Honesty. And people.
Ideas, that's what turns me on.
My wife turns me on.
Sports cars.
Jesus. Knowing him. And loving him.
Love, heart, and God.
Okay, that's the only thing that makes me just really happy is building things. Just with like plywood, I build radio-controlled airplanes.
Good music, laughter of children, and love. That's what turns me on.
I think I'm turned on to vitality more than anything else. I like energy.
Life itself in general. Life itself.
Just life itself.
Living.
Life.
I figure that everyone's got a talent, and if they realize that talent, then they're on to life.
$1973. I love the analogy films, the ones where they come up with these little vignette, what if, blah, 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 blah. It's very similar to drugs are like that. What are drugs? Well, imagine that you're a blah, blah, blah. Or imagine that this is happening. That's what drugs are like. So this is kind of an updated version, although they probably came out around the same time. I'm not 100% sure on that, but hopefully that one did not get too many music copyright strikes, and I'm still streaming on YouTube and Facebook because of that background music. Let's see. This next film, I'm not quite sure what this is about. It's made by the Key System, and it's March of Progress. And so, yeah, let's watch this together. Yeah, here we go. Enjoy.
Thousands of San Franciscans found a haven and new homes in the East Bay, where one of the West's most colorful characters, Borak Smith of 20 Mule Team fame, had come to found the Key Route to provide transportation adequate to the needs of this area, in which he saw such tremendous possibilities. The heart of Oakland, Latham Square, looked like this at the time. But Lake Merritt and the 12th Street Dam presented this scene of isolation. Horse cars were still plodding along when Borak Smith took over, and downtown streets were always thick with either mud or dust. This was the view at Broadway and 40th Street, and this was the waterfront. Here we have, sorry, wrong picture. The Berkeley campus presented a forlorn appearance, despite the glamour girls in the foreground. But with a new era of transportation and the influx of people from San Francisco, development progressed in leaps and bounds until the brightest dream of Francis Marion Smith was more than realized. Transportation, along which flows the lifeblood of modern civilization, had indeed brought growth and progress. And the sunny side of the bay took its rightful place as one of the leading communities of the nation. Besides the obvious business of collecting fares, running motor coaches, streetcars, and trains, there's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes in a system as big as this one. Roadbeds and tracks have to be maintained, and hundreds of men with a variety of skills are employed throughout the year on this phase of the operation alone. There are the machine shops with their great lathes and the expert machinists who keep a transit system running. There are furnaces in which metal is heated and under the masterful guidance of men, beaten into the 1,001 things needed. This is sort of a square roundhouse. It's part of the car shops, which covers acres and employs carpenters, upholsterers, metal workers, and electricians, besides the machinists and mechanics who make a complete check of every car every 48 hours and do little jobs like screwing up the wheels. This is part of one of the garages where the motor coaches are checked every 24 hours and completely serviced every 500 miles. Washing is made easier when you have a deal like this. And you'd be surprised how dirty they get after being on the road all day. Or would you? Things have to be kept looking fresh. There's a certain pride in the fact that this is one of the few locally owned, locally managed transit systems in the country. Geared to the needs and dedicated to the service of the East Bay, many Key System employees, like everyone else, were called into the armed services. And so, in an area of critical labor shortages, this company became the first in the country to train women to help in the vital task of carrying people on their everyday affairs, to and from their work, schools, and churches, in an area that suddenly acquired several hundred thousands of new population. These girls served their country in the necessary field of transportation. It took manpower to build the sinews of war and transportation to get them on the job. But the equipment that had served the needs of our community in peacetime became overburdened and sadly inadequate to the demands of war. The Richmond Shipyard Railway is a good example of the way initiative and know-how licked one of the country's knottiest transportation problems. The road was built and run by Key System for the United States Maritime Commission. But new cars, steel, rails were impossible to get. So into its building went rails resurrected from scrap heaps and old spikes salvaged and straightened. The cars had served a lifetime on the old New York elevated. But with everything on wheels being pressed into service, they carried the men who built the ships that took the stuff to the boys who finished the job. But with all the extra work, Key System couldn't neglect its regular job. Thousands of people who had been able to jump in the family car, well, you remember gas rationing? And there are two more good-looking customers. Do you know, in one war year, the motor coaches alone carried more than 71 million people. What's that? They were all in your coach. Oh, those were the days. Our commuters get one of the most exciting rides in the world. And boy, what a view! There's that spice and coffee smell again. One of the busiest intercity transit lines in the world safely delivers another trainload of passengers to the busiest terminal in America. Well, so much for the past and the present. Now, what about tomorrow? On the drafting boards of the engineers and designers, plans are already taking shape for a fleet of motor coaches and trolley coaches that will match the future planned for this greater East Bay. Some of the boys are pretty far ahead. We're aiming at perfection and plan to give you the smoothest, swiftest, safest transportation possible. We're going to go ahead and show you...
Hey, Doc! Hey, Doc!
Whoa there, McKee. Who invited you? Come on now. Get out. Get out! Possible designs of future Transbay trains are being studied. They will be set upon by...
Hey, Doc! Hey, Doc, I wanna...
Will you please stop interrupting? Go on. Get out before I have to use the fly swatter. Cute little cuss, isn't he? Inside, where they have the parts you sit down on, there's going to be something that you won't...
Hey, Doc! Hey, Doc, I wanna...
All right, Mac, you win. Go ahead.
Folks, it's gonna be wonderful. We're gonna have television, shower baths, floor shows, free meals, and... we'll watch. It's cozy, isn't it?
Just a minute, McKee.
Hey, what's the idea? Hey, down.
Everything's going to be wonderful, all right, but let's not exaggerate. But really, folks, the future does look mighty bright.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what the Key System was, and so some of you guys in the comments who are from the Bay Area knew exactly what it was. And so did I show two films that have something to do with the Bay Area? It's all related to where these films came from. I have been scanning films from Craig Baldwin. Craig Baldwin is a filmmaker, experimental filmmaker based in San Francisco, and I have reached out to him, and he has sent me some films from his collection, including ones that were obviously San Francisco related. Pretty great. I wish I had a McKee. a little animated guy that I could pick up off the frame and throw in the trash or whatever. Yeah, pretty great. These are also some Craig Baldwin films, but these don't have anything to do with San Francisco, I don't think. So, enjoy.
That's why I use Nitol tablets. I found out Nitol contains a doctor-sleeping discovery. Lets me get to sleep fast. I trust Nitol. Taken as directed, it's safe, fast, effective.
Try this at 7. Nabisco shredded wheat, regular and spoon size. Both sizes keep you going strong all morning long. Prevent 11 o'clock droop because they've got improved wheat protein. The way Nabisco makes shredded wheat increases the quality of the wheat protein. Try it at 7, feel great at 11. Get the original shredded wheat from Niagara Falls.
With the fresher flavor from Nabisco.
Saturday lunch, sandwiches and Fritos corn chips. And everybody's on deck to help get it on the table. Fritos corn chips are made to munch with sandwiches. Good to munch even before the sandwiches are on. Crisp, golden chips of corn. No other chip has the same satisfying munchiness. Fritos have a lightly toasted, lightly roasted flavor that's made for munching. You can see for yourself. They're irresistible. Well, lunch is on, but the Fritos are gone. Nope, she's prepared. Why don't you try them? Fritos corn chips. No other chip like them.
Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos, corn chips, if not for corn chips.
Mustard? Bread?
No.
Pickles?
No. Wax paper.
Wax paper? I don't think I have any in the house.
Well, how can you pack lunches without it?
With Handy Wrap. It's a snack. With Handy Wrap.
What's Handy Wrap?
Just the clear new sandwich wrap everyone's using. Keeps sandwiches fresh even overnight. See, Handy Wrap locks freshness in.
Come on.
I'll prove it. I'll pour scalding hot coffee into this cup lined with Handy Wrap.
Be careful, it'll leak.
Not Handy Wrap. But imagine what would happen with wax paper.
I hate to.
Now you know why Handy Wrap keeps lunches fresh, even when you make them the night before. Why Handy Wrap costs so little, I use it by the yard instead of wax paper.
Handy Wrap.
Breakfast. An important time of day in any family, because that's when you have one of the most important drinks of the day, the vitamin C drink. You see, vitamin C drains away, and you need a new supply every day. That's why Instant Tang is a favorite breakfast drink in thoughtful families. Tang actually gives you more protective vitamin C than orange or tomato juice. Deliciously. Tang with the wake-up flavor everybody likes, and vitamin C everybody needs. Make Tang fresh every day for the whole family. Now more than ever, a great breakfast drink value. Instant Tang, another fine product of General Foods.
I'm throwing a little party. 'Cause, you know, we're home practically all the time, and you're always welcome to stop by. Sometimes we dance.
Hold it, Mac. Thanks. Don't mention it.
Barney Rubble and me sometimes do the little specialty number we've been working on.
Whoopee! Whoopee! Yabba-dabba-doo!
Remember now, something's always going on here, and you're invited over to the Flintstones every week on ABC TV.
I love me some early Flintstones. Absolutely love them. Some great stuff in there. I love the, like, what can we do to sell handy wrap, or plastic wrap, and put down wax paper? I know. Let's pour scalding coffee into a handy wrap and compare that. Because that's... Why would you use wax paper with scalding coffee? I don't know. Those commercials are great because it's fascinating to see what still holds up as far as the advertising tropes. How do you address and get people interested? You know, being a mom, being an anxious mom, being an anxious wife, being an anxious dude. You know, how do you capitalize on those fears or those dreams? You know, all that stuff. Or Tang, that early Tang, before it was all about the space program. Yeah. Anyways, I've got more of those commercials that we'll be showing later this week, I think. Thanks for tuning in today. Thank you to Chris and Macon for buying us some coffee. That's one way you can support AV Geeks, is with some delicious black coffee. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/avgeeks. You can also go to avgeeks.com and buy DVDs and see other things that we've put online. And really, one way you can support AV Geeks is just by telling the world that we exist and saying how much you like it. And one way is you can hit like and subscribe. You can also share this with other people and say, like, hey, this is pretty awesome. Or this is at least interesting. Or, hey, this is somewhat annoying. You should check this out. Those are all great ways to support us. And I very much appreciate your comments and you tuning in. And we'll be back again tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll watch some more films because we've got tens of thousands of them yet to watch. I just was updated our list of what we've been watching, and we have we've watched 1,800 films. And this is our 414th show. So, yeah, we're chugging along, and I appreciate you being along for the ride. So everybody have a good rest of your day, and we will see you again soon. Yeah, take care.